Leaving our pets is hands down the hardest part of travel. And for years, I was doing it all wrong. Today, I'm sharing my biggest pet travel regrets and the 5 things I now do before I leave for any trip that I have. My system is a game changer for sure because here's one thing I know. If you're worried about your fur baby, you're not a happy traveler. So, if you're interested in learning more about my system, stay tuned. So let me tell you exactly where I went wrong. Years ago, I booked what was supposed to be a dream trip, and I thought I was being smart. Since I had no one to leave my cat Oliver with, I used my vet, where he had free roam with the facility, and I dropped him off, said goodbye, and I got on the plane feeling pretty good about myself. Now I know that was a big mistake. I came home to a pet who was stressed, who had lost weight, and who genuinely did not want to be near me for days. And all of this happened while he was staying with a trusted vet that I had used for years. It really killed me. And I kept thinking to myself, what did I do wrong? Here's what I didn't know at the time. Cats and dogs are built on what animal behavioralists now call the 3 Rs: routine, ritual, and rhythm. They are creatures of sameness: same couch, same feeding time, same smells, same sounds, same environment. When you pull them out of their home and put them in a strange place surrounded by strange animals, you rob them of all three. Now, that being said, I'm not here to guilt anyone or to tell you never travel. I would never do that. What I am here to tell you is this: with the right system and the right gear, you can protect your pet's 3 Rs completely. Your pet stays home, your pet stays calm, and you stay sane in your hotel room wherever you are in the world. So let's talk about exactly what to do. Let's start building the system with the gear because that has to be in place even before you start to think of traveling. And honestly, most of the gear I'm talking about should be used daily anyhow. Okay, number one, this is a non-negotiable for me. It's a pet camera. You want a camera that has two-way audio so you can hear what's happening in your home and you can speak to your pet directly.
So after you download the app, you get to pick what room you're in, and then you turn on the camera and you can hear everything that's going on in the room, and you can zoom in to where your pets are and you can talk to them.
Really? Now, I know that some of you might think this is overkill, but hear me out. When I'm sitting in a cafe miles away, I can pull out my phone, see my cat curled on his favorite chair, and say, "Hi, Alfie, how's my best boy?" And I can see his little face perk up and hear me, and I can hear his little scratchy voice, and it changes his mood and my mood as well. It's not just for them, it's for us too. It also gives you peace of mind to make sure that your pet sitter is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Or if you notice something that's a bit off with your pet, that someone else who is unfamiliar with your fur baby might not notice. So this is the first thing I put on my leaving home checklist. Number two, water. Now, if you have a pet sitter coming, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, they will handle the water bowl, but I like a backup. A pet water fountain is one of those things where once you get one, you wonder how you ever lived without it. Cats especially, because they're drawn to moving water, and they are naturally poor drinkers. But even dogs like to know that they have fresh water. So a water fountain helps to keep your dog's or cat's water fresh and clean. But this should be in your home always because fresh water is the best water for your pets. So today we're going to have real life Perry doing chores around the house, no makeup. So I'm going to show you how you clean and put together your water filter system. So this is the tank when you first get it. It's clean and washed already. And if you forget how to do anything, there's a QR code in the back to help you. These are the 2 filtering components that you get, and you will have to change about once every 2 months. You can either use the fountain or you don't have to use the fountain and then it just flows out on its own. But my cats like the fountain. And this is the pump. So this is the way you take it apart. You take out the little filter and then you just take this back part off. There's another little piece here and there's a little fan component in there. And you just use any little thing like this to pull it out. And then all these pieces, including the pump, the wire in, but the pump can go into the water. And then you wash everything in a clean bin like this, full of sudsy water. So when you wash it, you just use like a baby brush like this, but you want to do this at least once every other month. Now there's 2 parts of the filter system. There is the spongy part and there's this filter part. This has to soak for 5 minutes every time you put a new one in. And putting it back together again, it's very easy. Drop the little fan in here. You align this with that. Just push it into place. Put the cap right back on. And you put the little spongy foam thing into this little compartment here. And then you connect the pump back to the lid. Then you open this part up again You take the filter that's been soaking for 5 minutes and you put it in this way, and then you just close this. And don't forget, you have to put the fountain part back on if you're going to use it like that. And you fill the water basin up to the max line. And I always like to use filtered water, and I have filtered water here on my tap. And then you put the lid on and you make sure that the cord is coming through the cord area. And this is what the fountain looks like once everything is all set up. But for travel purposes specifically, this is your safety net. This is in case your sitter is delayed or your flight is delayed or there's a gap in your pet's care, you know that they have fresh, clean water, and you also have peace of mind. And while we're talking about water, let's talk about food. Depending on what kind of pet care you're having into your home, you might want to have an automatic feeder. And these are great for dogs and cats. And they can even do a little coverage if you're away for a weekend. Now, personally, I don't do that, but that's me. I'm a neurotic cat mom. So next, I'm going to show you how I set up my dry feeder. So there are basically a few parts to this. You have the base unit, you have the feeding bowl, you have a lid, and the base unit where you fill it has two parts. So you take the bottom part of the bin and you put it in like this over here, and you rotate it till it locks. Then you'll see that it has these two buttons on either side, and that's just to lock this in place. You want to make sure that you have these two holes facing the back. Press on the buttons and it just locks into place. And this feeding tray hooks in here at the bottom. This actually comes with really good instructions, and it allows for 8 feeding times. And this button over here allows you to record yourself and call your pet for a meal.
Ellie, eat. Ellie, Abby, eat.
And filling it up. And then you put these two hinges here into the back area, and it seals it shut because you have this rubber gasket that goes all the way around, and so the food stays fresh. And if you want to do an additional feed, you unlock it with this button and you press this one. So you can see that you can add additional food as you want. Okay, cat moms, this one is specifically for you, and I think you're going to love it. It's a self-cleaning litter box. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Do I really need one of those fancy robot litter boxes that cost $700? You better believe not. I had one. Not only was it huge and expensive, but it was also enclosed, and my cats hated it. And one of them took to pooping outside of the box. No bueno, big time. So after doing a lot of research, I found the Pet Pivot Auto Scooper. You can find a lot of reviews for it in the description area down below, right here on YouTube. First of all, it's not crazy expensive. It's about $144. And here is why I love it for travel and also for daily use. And you know how I love things that have dual duty. And also, especially now that I have 2 cats. First thing is, there is no app, no Wi-Fi setup, no account to create, no technical headaches. There are exactly 3 buttons: power, level, and clean. That's it. If I can figure it out, trust me, you can figure it out too. Plus, not having to deal with an app to make the litter box work is not a downside, it's a feature. The last thing I want to do when I'm far away from home is get a notification from my litter box. Here's what it does. Your cat uses the box, the machine waits about 70 seconds, levels the litter so everything is nice and even, and then scoops all the waste into a sealed drawer underneath. No smell, quiet operation. I don't even know it's there. And here's the part that really impressed me. It has safety sensors. If your cat walks up to the box, mid-cycle, it stops immediately. No risk, no stressing out your cat. Also, because it's not an enclosed system, my cat's urine or poop smell is not trapped in there with them while they're going, so they are more likely to use it. Mine adjusted right away. Also, getting rid of your cat's waste has never been easier to do. All you have to do is pull open the drawer, take out the bag, cinch it shut, and you're done. It also has this little built-in step, which I love, especially for older cats like my Wally, who needed a little extra help getting in. Now, do you still need your sitter to check on the litter? Yes, only if you're gone for more than 2 weeks or you have more than 2 cats. Also, some litter may need to be added along the way, especially if you have more than 1 cat. But will there be any scooping to do? Obviously not. And your cat sitter will thank you for that alone.
And I reached out to Pet Pivot, and they're giving my viewers an additional 10% off by using this link and this code, which you'll find in the description area down below.
And the last piece of gear that I'm going to say you need is a GPS tracker. This is a newer addition to my system, and I'm never going without it again. Whether your pet is with a sitter or just at home, or you've taken them along with you and they might have gotten out the door, you have peace of mind knowing that when you look at your phone, you can see exactly where they are. A good pet GPS tracker clips right onto their collar and gives you real-time location right straight to your phone. I know that that might sound like overkill, and I hope you'll never need it, but knowing that it's there is invaluable. The tracker has done more for my travel anxiety than almost anything else that I have on this list. I would also remind you to get your pet microchip, so that way you have a layer of protection, even if your pet is an indoor pet. You never know when you could have a runner. But here's what I want you to understand. All of this gear, it only works if you have the right person on the other end. And that is where everything either comes together or falls apart, which takes me to the next part of this system, which is pet care. Now, I've been using Rover for a while now, and I actually sat down with a friend of mine, Andrea, who told me about Rover in the first place when I had no one to watch Ellie and Alfie.
I don't have somebody that I can trust to watch Rosie. It becomes really difficult. And I really just don't want to go away. I just thinking about her the whole time if I can't really trust whoever is watching her. So when we found Rover, we felt so lucky because it's so easy to go on there, read reviews, and find people who really have a lot of experience and have a lot of great recommendations. So I can feel safe and sound leaving Rosie with somebody that I can trust. So somebody who has a lot of experience is really important to me. Rover has really become a real godsend for us because I can find somebody that I can trust and they can, help us relax. Because when you go away, you don't want to be thinking the entire time about, oh, I hope, Rosie is okay. I couldn't do that.
And have you used the various services that Rover has to offer? In other words, they can come by once a day, multiple times a day. They can come sit in your house, or they can kennel. Have you used any of those services?
Most of the time when we have used Rover, it's when we're going away on vacation and they're staying in my house a couple of days to watch her. It's great to just be able to call them so they can just come to the house either for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is that I need. It's so flexible. It really is very, very helpful in finding what you need at the right time and at the right place.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Rosie.
You're welcome, Barry.
And as Andrea said, it helps us relax. That is the whole thing right there. Rover connects you with vetted, reviewed pet sitters in your area. You can see their reviews and you can see photos of their previous visits. You can filter by whether they do overnight stays, which, by the way, is what I usually do, but you have to do what works for your budget. And Rover has all these great filters. You can filter by type of animal, what your situation is. Are you looking for a sitter who has repeat bookings from the same people? That is the sign of someone I can trust. I also like that Rover connects you with people in your area so you can check them out with your vet. Because when I know that Alfie and Ellie are being taken care of when I'm on vacation, I'm having a better vacation. Now, this is what I want to stress, and this is where things can go terribly wrong. Finding a great sitter, whether it be a family member or on Rover, is only half the job. The other half is setting up the sitter for success. And that brings me to the most important thing in this entire video, and probably the most important part of the whole system. You cannot leave your pet sitter without specific information and guidelines. I don't care how great the person is. They need a pet sitter guide. I call mine the Pet Sitter SOP, or Standard Operating Procedure. And it lives right here on my countertop in the kitchen. So let's talk a little bit about what goes into it. Emergency contacts first. Your vet's name and their number, a backup friend who lives local and can get to your home quickly, and your number, obviously, and your time zone if you're traveling internationally. Also, your pet's daily routines need to be written down in there. And I don't mean something kind of generic like feed at 5 p.m. I mean the routines. What toy does your dog or cat like to play with after dinner? Where does your dog like to be scratched when they're having some anxiety? What does your cat do when they're stressed? And look for behavioral changes, things that are not normal. All of those things belongs in that folder because your sitter needs to know about all of it. And don't forget to include anything that's a red flag for your particular pet. Not eating one meal is a lot different than not eating for 24 hours. And this should be written down in there. Show your sitter how the auto feeder and the pet pivot works and how to clean it out. And also show them that you have a pet camera set up so that they know that they're being watched and that you are also looking for signs that your pet may be in distress also. Walk them through every step before you leave. Now, I'm sure you might have some questions for me, and you might have some suggestions of your own that you'd like to share with all of us in this community. Drop those in the comment section down below. Also, if you found any value in this, or you know someone who always cancels their trip because of their pets, Please share this video with them and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button down below because that tells YouTube you want to see more of my videos. Now here is the tip that completely changed my life, and I want you to write this one down. I call it the handoff. Before I leave for any trip, I have my pet sitter come to my house 3 times, 3 visits before I get on the plane. First visit, they watch me feed my pets. They just observe. Second visit, they do the feeding while I sit on the couch nearby. Third visit, they do everything themselves. This way, your pet is familiar with the sitter and they won't be freaked out by a stranger. By the time I'm at the airport, my pet already knows that the sitter is no longer a stranger and they're not freaked out by them and they become just part of the routine. And that's the difference between having a stressed out pet and having a happy one. And one more trick I want to tell you about. I leave a special box right here. It's full of special treats and new toys that my pet has not seen before. I tell my sitter, day 1, shortly after we leave, pull out one toy and give it to them. And then suddenly, my pet sitter becomes one of the most popular people in the house. The sitter is now a great person, and the next time your pet sees that sitter, it means fun to them, not mom and dad going away. And that one little trick is like magic, and it's the difference between you leaving a happy pet and an unhappy pet. And I want to come home to a happy pet. So there you have it, a complete system I now use, so I never have pet regret going on my vacation. Invest in the gear, set up the system, and leave the guilt at the gate. And if you want to see the unique bag that I used when I went to pick up Ellie, check out this video over here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.